Hello team, today's challenge is anniversary milestones, where we are given a year, and based on this table, we need to figure out what the milestone is. So all of that calculates all the way down even to higher than 70, right, which is platinum. And we need to keep it flexible, right? That's the whole goal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this table and move it into my code. Let's call this milestones, like this. And we're going to make that a new map. Brilliant. And the reason for a map is because, one, it will maintain its order, right? We've talked about that before. And two, it will give us a chance to loop through it, right? So it keeps that strength, right? The ability to grab these keys as we need and return a value, or to loop through it and also return a value, okay? We do need to clean this up a little bit, so let's do that. Right here, for some reason, there is a tab. I don't know if you can see that arrow. That's the hidden symbol for tab. So we are going to get the space and this quote and use some multiple cursors, just like this, getting rid of that tab, replacing it with a comma and a space, and then wrapping the whole thing in quotes and ending with a comma. Or sorry, wrapping the whole thing in square brackets and then ending with a comma, okay, to make this. And again, this leaves us with maximum flexibility because we can access these directly. Like if I wanted to get what is the milestone for year 25, well, I can just go milestones.get25 and it will return silver, right? Now, down here, we have our function, okay? And for this, we are going to do milestones. So we're going to start with those milestones, and we are going to loop through them. Now, the way that this works is if we were using a for loop, it would do this automatically for us. Because we want to use some sort of a find, which is an array method, we need to coerce this to an array, okay? Which is going to let us do the next step, which is a find, but not just a find. We're going to find last, okay? Find last, it finds the one closest to the end, but it does that by going backwards. So it will actually start at 70, then go to 60, 50, 40, 25, 10, 5, 1, and 0, which I completely forgot. Let's go and add that really fast right here, because this is newlyweds, plural, and this one is 0, okay? So I forgot to add that one. Don't forget to do that. But find last, we're going to loop through it in reverse order. So this saves us from having to do a reverse, right? We could go reverse and then find. Find last does that for us. Lots of talking there, but let's keep going. So milestone. And inside of here, we are going to test for a thing, okay? The thing that we're going to test for and return true or false on is if years is greater than or equal to milestone dot at 1. No, 0. Sorry, at 0, because it's going to be the first, right? 0 indexed. So milestone at 0, when we find the years that is greater than equal to this number, we stop and we return. Well, we return the whole thing actually, okay? Which means that right here we need to do another at for 1, okay? And that should get it done. Now, a few things that I want to talk about here before we wrap it up. I'm using at here. Did I need to? No, I could have just used square brackets with a 0. It still works great. In fact, I could have done that here, okay, with square brackets and a 1. But I want you to take a look at this. If I'm scanning this code fast, with all of the brackets in here, I might miss the 1, okay? So reading this code, it feels very simple and very direct, but the reality is that it's less readable, which means that if I accidentally put 0 in here, I might read through this code and go, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? And then it will take me a long time to figure out that my index is wrong, okay? So by backing this out and using at least for this part here, after the find, we ensure that it's harder to miss. right? We're putting in that guardrail so that as I'm scanning down this code, I see the findLast and I see the at, okay? Even if it's on a single line, so like the highlighting is doing funny things, but even if it's on a single line, I'm more likely to see that at than I am to see square brackets with a 1. So for readability, I like the at, right? The other thing that I want to talk about is the map, okay? Because I talked about the map giving us ultimate flexibility, okay? But if I, if I grab all this and paste it down, okay? And let's say I turn this into an array. So I get rid of the map, pasting this in, brilliant, getting rid of these right here so that we can just do this and it all still works. But I would say that it's less flexible. And the reason that I say that is because what if I did just want to pull out a single value? Like I want to find the milestone for year 40, right? Well, now I need to actually do a find to get 40 to get the result. That's a lot of extra work, a lot of extra code that I need to write. Whereas JavaScript already gives that to us. Now, little tip here, because these are key value pairs, right? They are tuples in their own right, or tuples, depending on how you do that. We absolutely could get the best of both worlds. And the way that we do that is by going milestones map equal to new map, passing in milestones just like this. Nothing actually changes, but those values get passed into here, which means that, again, I can go back and expand this out. That's kind of a silly way to do it, but the best of both worlds, right? So lots of flexibility in leaving it this way, right? I started with a map, but there's nothing to stop you from pulling this out. And then later on, if you did need to access these individual values, then you could toss it into or I had it as an array. You could toss that array into a map and pull values off of it. And it will all still work. We can still loop through it. We can still access these keys because they're numbers, right? If we did an object, we would have to put the values first, the keys second, right? Which, I mean, technically the strings would be the keys, the numbers would be the values, right? It gets messy. But with this, we get all that flexibility, which means that we can just do this, okay? This one doesn't actually apply today. It's just a little bit of fun, okay? And again, where did we start? Well, we started with a map, okay? Because I really like using maps. They're easy to access and easy to loop through. Then we used a findLast, right? And findLast loops backwards. So it's kind of like doing a reverse and then a find, which is exactly what we want. And because of the nature of find and findLast, they exit early. As soon as they find a truthy value, they stop, right? So they're very performant that way too. And then the last thing is using at to make all of this more readable, right? So that's the whole thing for today. That's where I would leave it. Again, not every solution, just one good solution. If you think so, if you don't think so, if you found another solution that you want to share, hit me up in those comments. Otherwise, today, this has been Anniversary Milestones, and I will see you tomorrow.